Salvete discipili, guess what? We are in week 30, and that means this is our last week of new material. After this, we're going to have 3 weeks of review, and then we're done. And you get to throw away your books or frame them or whatever you do at the end of the year with your favorite books. I'm just joking. So that's very exciting. You guys are through your first year of Latin and you've all done a wonderful job and you are ready after this week. I think you're ready to go on to Paideia Latina B. So congratulations. Let's go ahead and get started on today's lesson. We are going to be on Pagina 187. So assuming that you have your textbook and your pencil, let's get started. If not, pause the video and go and get those things and meet me back here. All right, let's get started. Week 30, accusative case, prepositions continued. I wonder what case these prepositions are going to like. Goal, translate prepositional phrases using the accusative singular and plural. All right, let's get started on our vocab. Okay, ready? We're on pagina 187. Capto, captare, captavi, captatum. I hunt, to hunt, I hunted, hunted. Ob, in front of. Pair, through. Post, after. Praeter, past. Prope, near. Propter, on account of. Secundum, along, according to. Su plus accusative, up to, under, with motion. Super plus accusative, over, above, upon, with motion. Trans, across. Ultra, beyond. Okay, I went through those a little bit faster today, but I think you guys probably kept up with me. All right, let's talk about some derivatives. I'm only going to do one today. The first one I'm seeing, probably because it's at the bottom here, is this trans. Trans, across. Have any of you ever gone on a transcontinental flight? Or have you ever heard of one before? So basically, you guys know what a continent is, right? A continent. So we live on the continent of North America. All right, and actually we happen to live on one end of that continent in Portland, Oregon. We're right on the Pacific. You imagine the ocean right here. Now let's pick a place right on the other side. I'm going to pick, how about Maine? Maine is up here, and there's a Portland, Maine. So if I were to get onto a flight and fly from Portland, Oregon, and flew across the continent to Portland, Maine, that would be a transcontinental flight. It goes across the continent. Cool, huh? And that's taken right from Latin. So if you guys find any cool derivatives and you want to share them with me, feel free to write them down and shoot them in an email to me through your folks, or take a picture and have them upload it to me. Whatever is easiest, or that's okay, don't do any. But it does make it a little bit easier to learn your vocabulary words. By the way, I went through your guys' Latin tests from last week. Excellent work. Really proud of you guys. It looks like what you're doing to study your vocabulary is working, so keep doing it, all right? Good job. And go ahead and do that again this week. I'm really sorry that I made a mistake on the extra math. Jubilee shot me a little message telling me about that, so thank you, Jubilee. And if any of you ever see any little typos that I make, typos are like little mistakes, go ahead and let me know. I love to hear from you, and I really appreciate the corrections. So let's get started. Here's our grammar lesson. Pagina 188. All right, let's go ahead and start reading. Follow along with me.
This week, we have 11 more prepositions that all love the accusative case. You will need to put the noun following them into the accusative case. Okay, so all of the prepositions we learned this week, preposition, noun in the accusative case. All right, that's going to be your prepositional phrase. Watch out for the prepositions sub and super. Both of these prepositions can go with either the ablative or the accusative. When they're with the ablative, they just show where something is. When they're with the accusative, they show motion happening. All right, let's look at some of these examples. Aquila super terra est. The eagle is above the ground. Oops, I should use this ablative. The eagle is above the ground. Now let's see what happens when we use an accusative. Aquila super terram volat. The eagle flies over the ground. So you see one of the big differences there are the verbs that are used. So est, sum est, sumus esti sunt, that is a state of being verb. That shows like just where something is or how something is. And so you would use an ablative to go with in that prepositional phrase. All right. And then when we're using an action verb, like something that's happening, if you're going to use a prepositional phrase, you'll probably use an accusative to go with that preposition. All right. So let's look at the next one. Silva sub tumilo est. The forest is under the hill. Ablative. Vir sub tumulum ambulat. The man walks up the hill. All right, so we see one is moving and the other one is just showing where the noun is. Okay, let's go ahead and flip back to Pagina 182 and we will do our grammar sound off. Pagina 182. Ready? A preposition is a small word that connects the noun to the rest of the sentence. The noun is called the OP, and OP means object of the preposition. Some prepositions love the ablative case. Motion from is the ablative case. Some prepositions love the accusative case. Motion toward is the accusative case. All right, so let's go ahead and start. I'll walk you through your lesson. You can go ahead and get started and just listen along with me. All right, so the first page, we're flipping back to, 189, and that has our vocabulary that you need to fill in. Now 190, we're going to start talking about you need to be able to put these nouns into the accusative case. So you're going to fill out this case box at the top, this chant here. So cases give just the nominative, accusative, and ablative endings. Now, if you need help with this, in the back of your book, there's something called a glossary. And in that glossary, there is a whole chant section with all your verb endings and your noun endings. So you can use that to help you with this section. Or you could just chant it in your head. Or even better, you can write it all out on a whiteboard. Sorry, I call it a grease board, but it's a whiteboard. You write it all out on your whiteboard and just remind yourself of all those endings. All right, and so that's what you're going to do. You're just going to fill in those endings. Pay close attention. Try to memorize these accusative endings, all right? Now, the next part down here, changing cases. Take each nominative noun and put it into the accusative case. If the nominative is plural, change it to accusative plural. All right, so let's look at this example here. This first one is Silva. Silva. That is a feminine noun, so your ending is going to be a feminine in the feminine accusative case. So that's Silvam, and it's singular. I should have mentioned that. Okay, Silvam changes to, Silva changes to Silvam. Next, now we look at Sylvae. Sylvae is the feminine plural. So you're going to change it to, or nominative feminine plural. And so you're going to change it to accusative feminine plural. Sylvae. Right? So let's go ahead and do number 1 all together. Somebody's baking cookies and their timer just went off. All right, let's go ahead and do number 3 and 4 together. On number 3, we have via. Via. You see that's nominative, singular, feminine. So it's going to change to, just like the other one with Silva, it's going to change to viam. All right, so we're going to change that to viam. Okay. Oops. And then va, that is nominative plural feminine. So that's going to change to vias. Okay. All right. Let's do a masculine one. How about number 9? Murus, buri, murus. So that is masculine singular nominative. So we're just going to change it to the masculine singular accusative, which is e. Okay. I'm sorry. No, it's not. It is, I was looking at something wrong. Sorry. What is the masculine singular? It's right? So it needs to be mur, Okay, so murus. Oops, I'm sorry. Oof, I'm messing this one up. Murus changes to murum. All right. And that's what you're going to do on all 12 of these. And you're going to use this chart up above to help you figure out the accusative singular and the accusative plural endings. And then right under it, we have preposition choice. Circle the preposition which makes the sentence make the most sense. Let's look at our example here. Castellium est per or ultra fluvium. Now we know per means through. Ultra means beyond. All right. So the castle is, and fluvium is the river. Okay. So the river is through the river. Ultra the river. Ultra is beyond the river. That makes most sense. So that's what you're going to do with all 5 of those. Okay. Let's see. Moving on to 191. Translations. Translate each prepositional phrase from English to Latin using the correct accusative ending. Okay, now that you guys have mastered changing the nominative to the accusative in the singular and plural, you're ready to do this. Okay, so our first one there, our example, across the ocean. it's going to translate to trans-oceanum, oceanum. Now notice the ocean in Latin, it's oceanum. Okay, there's no word for the "the." The "the" is just swallowed up into oceanum. Okay, so you don't need to write trans the oceanum. All right, so it's just across the ocean is transoceanum. All right, let's try a couple of these. Let's see which one looks fun. How about number 6? Okay, so the reason why number 6 may be a little bit tricksy is there's so many words in it. There's so many English words, but it actually only translates to 2 Latin words. Okay, so do you guys remember where is the preposition in this one? Is it just on? It's actually this whole section. On account of. We actually have one Latin word that means on account of. And it is propter. Yes. And remember, one of the lovely things about these prepositions is that we don't have to change cases or mess with changing anything, remember? Propter. It's always propter. Okay, so we took care of that one. Propter. Now we just need the gold. What is gold in Latin? Aurum, right. And that's a neuter noun, right? So do we remember what the ending is then in the accusative case? Okay, here's a little hint. Remember the neuter rule. The nominative and the accusative are always the same endings. So it's actually going to be aurum. Propter aurum. Ta-da! Done. Shall we do another one? Let's try 8. Through the rivers. Now, you remember what through is? We just talked about this one. Okay. Yeah, it's per. Per is through. And do you remember the river? Okay, fluvius, fluvii, and that is a masculine noun. So we need to put it into the accusative case, but really quick, how many are there? There's multiple rivers. It's plural. So we're going to need to put it into the accusative plural, which is not but it is os. Very good. So it's going to be per fluvios. Dun. Good job. All right, let's move on. So now we have translate each sentence into English. Let's see. Let's just go ahead and do number 1. Now remember, how you do this is you read it out loud in Latin, and then you start translating. Okay. Agricola et nauta ad Romanum festinabat. All right, so we've got the 2 nouns, agricola, et, and nauta. What are those? Those are our pains nouns. The farmer and the sailor. Very good. So the farmer and the sailor are doing something. We see at the end here, we've got this verb festinabat. Okay, festinabat. And that is 3rd person plural. What time period? When did this happen? It's the imperfect. Good. Bombas spat. Bomus batis spant. It's happened already. Or it's still happening. So they were hurrying, because festinabat means hurrying. So the farmer and the sailor were hurrying, and then odd means to, right? To Rome. All right, so let's check here. I don't know if you can read my writing very well. The farmer and sailor were hurrying to Rome. Okay, so you're going to want to translate all of those just like that. And then on our very last page here, we have a preposition sort. That means we've got these two bags here, the ablative case bag and the accusative case bag, and you're just going to choose which prepositions jump into which bag, okay? And you're going to draw a line. All right, so for instance, ob, that goes into they love the ablative case, so you're going to jump it into the ablative case. All right, I'm going to send right around Thursday, I'm going to send your parents a corrections sheet so you can check these. This might take a little while, so I'll send it and you can check your answers. Make sure you're getting those correct. I will send the translation and the ablative case, accusative case sort to make sure that you guys can double check and make sure you're getting it all right. Okay, well that is it for today. Have a wonderful week. If you have any questions, please go to your Latin labs. And like for instance, if you notice that your translations are really hard, just go. All right? And I will see you next week. Happy week 30.